Hey friends, let's make this cute little witch hat headband. So I have a digital download on my site for the Witch Hat template. I cut this on my Cricut Maker 3 and it cut beautifully. I cut out quite a few hats, but for this project, I'm just using one of them. So we're gonna take our pieces. We have our base circle-y piece, our kind of triangular piece, and then I'm using the Cricut little mini iron because it works really great. And it's super helpful for this project. So first, I'm gonna go in about 1/4 inch and make a bunch of little slits around our center little donut shape here. And this is just gonna help attach it to our hat, our top pointy hat part. Again, I am the queen of technical terms, so you know, that's how I roll. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my little Cricut iron here, and on this little triangle, I don't know, quarter circle shape here, I have a little flap, and that's what's gonna go ahead and connect to the other side of the hat. So what I like to do is I grab my iron and I like to iron this part down just to make it flat, and it just makes it a lot easier to glue to the other side. You don't have to do this. If you don't have an iron, it's fine, but I really appreciate doing this step because it just makes it so much easier to glue instead of it kind of like helps with you not having to fight that flap when you're trying to fold it over later. So we're gonna go ahead and add some glue to the flap that we just folded down, and then take the opposite side and kind of roll it over to make this kind of cone, or kind of like an ice cream cone shape. So that's all I'm doing here, and I'm just gonna squeeze that on there, and it just makes a nice, really clean seam for your little witch hat. See, almost there. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of glue on that top part. The reason I don't have a fold there is because it would just get way too bulky and icky, so that's why there's nothing there. And then you just add a little bit more glue and kind of pinch it tight. And then I go ahead and do the bottom, and we're gonna close that up a little bit too, and just add a little bit of glue on the bottom just to close that little seam up too. Now you have a little ice cream cone kind of shape. I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add some glue to the inside of our hat, and that's where all of these fun little slits on our donut shape are gonna come into work, I guess you could say. Anyway, so we're gonna add this donut shape, kind of center it up, and then we're gonna fold all of those flaps. Woo! I know this is a little bit harder, easier said than done, I suppose, but kind of get it all situated and organized on there, and then slowly fold all those slits up to those glue marks that you had already made. And that's gonna how we are going to adhere the base brim to our top little witchy ice cream cone shape there. All right, see, that's all you do. If any flaps don't kind of stick down quite well enough, just go ahead and add a little bit of glue, and then just kind of re-adhere and push those back down. That kind of helps. Sometimes the glue dries a little bit faster than you want, and it totally happens, but that's fine. And glue makes mess, so I like to clean it up a little bit. All right, so this is your basic witch shape hat. So you could leave it like this if you want, but I like to go a few steps further and make it a bit more fun. So I'm gonna grab my iron again, and I'm gonna make it kind of squish it and squash it down. And I kind of like fold it and squashed it down in a fun way, because you don't want this, like, what witch hat is like perfectly perfect? You know, it's not like you went to the witch hat store and bought your hat today. You want like an old looking witch hat kind of thing. So I just scrunched it down and kind of folded it and whatnot, and I'm grabbing my iron again and just putting a lot of pressure here and just heating that felt up to get those creases so that it kind of just stays that shape, or the crunch down shape. So ta-da! This just totally makes the hat look so much more fun. So now that it's a bit soft still, you know, that it'll be manipulated really easy. It could either smush in the wrong direction and whatnot. We want to definitely lock this shape in. So I'm just grabbing a scrap piece of paper that I use a lot and some really mega strong hold hairspray that's unscented because I really hate scented stuff, and just spraying the bananas out of it. You can use a fabric felt stiffener spray if you'd like that too. I prefer the aerosol can because it just makes it easier for me to spray, but you have the spritzy bottles too if you don't like aerosol. You're gonna wanna let that dry a bit, and then once it's dry, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some bands around the base. So all I'm doing here is throwing a little bit of glue down, and this is about a 1/4" strip of felt, and I'm just using various colors. You could obviously change this color to whatever you want. I've got a few colors down there for all the different colors that I'm gonna be making, but all you're gonna do is just carefully and slowly glue that band all the way around. I like to put a decent amount of glue on there because the shape of the hat is a little bit like wonky and curvy. I want to make sure it's adhering pretty well and getting in all those little groovy little spots instead of just being like only adhered in tiny areas. Okay, so I did a few different hats already, and now I'm gonna make a few different little flowers. So I'm using my scalloped shape fringe scissors. I guess they're called pinking shears. Link in the description if you wanna grab these. These are some of my favorite scissors. And we're just gonna go ahead and make a few different snips. Okay, so we're making a few different fringe colors in a few different colors, or a few different fringe strips in a few different colors. It's roughly about a 1/4" thick, if not maybe a little bit less. I'm just gonna go ahead and make some really thin little fringe, and I'm just following the little valleys on the scalloped shape. You don't have to use a scallop shape scissors. If you don't have them, it'll totally work still. Now we're just gonna go ahead and roll these and kind of make tiny little rolled flowers. I'm also gonna work them down just a little bit, like they're not perfectly level all the way because I want them a little bit flared. So super simple little tiny flowers. Okay, so I'm doing 3 little flowers in 3 different colors. And we're gonna go ahead and attach them to each other. I like to attach them to themselves first before putting on the hat because you kind of never know how they're gonna land. So if it's one little bunch of them, you know exactly what it's gonna look like. So just using those 3, and I'm kind of just bunching them together. And now we're gonna add a few different leaves. So I've got, it's about like an 1" by 1" square, and I'm just gonna freehand a few kind of wonky different shaped leaves. So I've got, starting with a simple shape. So always the best way to start is with something simple. And then I'm gonna go in and just kind of cut some like ziggy-zaggies in it and just kind of give our leaf shape just a little bit more funness. Because I mean, it's Halloween and it's spooky leaf, so you might as well make it a little bit more fun, and instead of just like a boring leaf shape. So be creative, you don't have to be crazy, but I'm just adding, I'm kind of like no rhyme or reason here, just kind of taking some stuff out and making it a little crazy. And I don't know, I'm pretty happy with the shape, and that was pretty easy. So then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna add this to our little bunch here. I'm gonna do a little pinch on the bottom too, just to give it a little bit more depth. And see, doesn't that add so much more character to this too? And now we're gonna go ahead and add it to our little bunch and to make it even more complete. And then we're gonna add it to our hat, and we're almost done. Ta-da! See, it's just so much helpful to have this bunch, and then now when we go to put it on our little witch hat, it's like perfect, and you don't have to like size and move things around, and now we can find the perfect spot to add this to there. So we're gonna go ahead and add some glue to the base of our piece here, and then plop our little flower set on there. Oh my goodness, I just love how cute these little witch hats are turning out. They're probably my most favoriteest thing for the Halloween season, and my daughter, who is being a little witch for Halloween, is so excited to wear this bad boy. All right, so I've just got some scrap felt here, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut a strip that's about 1 inch wide, and we are gonna go ahead and wrap this around our headband. So I've got a white covered headband, and obviously white's not gonna work for a Halloween hat, so we definitely need to cover this bad boy. So I'm gonna go ahead and start at one end, and I'm just gonna add glue, and we're just gonna go straight down the middle first. I left a little bit on the edge just to fold over to make it more of a finished edge, and then slowly work your way around the headband, adding more glue and adding your felt piece all the way around. Take your time here because this can get a little bit tricky, and I know I'm going in super fast mode, but it's definitely something that takes just a minute, and you just want to work a little bit at a time, adding some glue and then folding it, adding some glue a little bit and make sure it's lined up. Now I added another little flap on the other end, trimmed off that excess, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of a trim there just so there's less bulk, but we're gonna end up folding it over so it's completely covered headband and there's no white showing. So we're gonna start on one side, add a generous amount of glue, and you can work slow, fast, whatever. I did a pretty big spot right there, but I probably regret it because now I have to go back and add some more glue because it kind of dries sometimes a little bit quick. But we're gonna go ahead and fold it over and get it as tight and thin as possible. And then work your way all the way down on both sides, folding it over. This definitely helps make the headband a little bit more comfy instead of just like all that hard plastic going into your head. That felt definitely softens the blow a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and glue down the other side as well, and doing the exact same thing, adding glue and then folding it over and making sure you have good contact. Try to be as clean as possible on this second side. The first side, you're definitely gonna get it covered up, but if glue kind of falls out, it's kind of annoying and obnoxious and gross. So try to keep this side extra clean as much as you can. And if not, you can always cut those glue blurbs that kind of fly out, or use the tip of your glue gun to remelt it down so you can't see it as much. Like, add a little bit more glue and there you go. Now you have a covered headband in felt. And trying to clean that bad boy up because that's kind of obnoxious. All right, so now we've got our little witch hat, and I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little offset because you don't wanna like smack in the middle, because what little witch has their hat perfectly in the middle? So I'm gonna line it up perfectly first just to make sure that I have the placement right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add some glue to the hat, easy peasy, and glue it right down onto our felt headband. And oh my gosh, look how cute she's coming together already. And then do the other side. And ta-da! Isn't she so gorgeous? My little girl is so excited to be a little witch this year, and look how cute and adorable she is. Can't wait for Halloween and trick-or-treating. Thanks, friends, for following along. Go hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well so that you don't miss any new future videos on all the super fun things I've got going on around here. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.